everybody! So I went to Comic-Con recently. Let me tell you why that's a big deal. So the only 2 times that I've had an MS relapse was a couple months before Comic-Con. Like my body is preventing me from happiness and joy. Anyways, I was planning in advance to sew this really cool steampunk cosplay. Is gonna have guns and holsters and all that stuff, and then I got sick. So after my relapse, I decided to do something really toned down. So I went for a Harley Quinn dress. Actually, I think I turned out looking more like Harley Quinn converted, gained 40 pounds, and became a secretary. So the con I went to was in Dubai, and let me tell you, I prepared the heck out of it. I contacted someone in advance so she could, help make sure that it was easy to go through the lines, because you know what Comic-Con lines look like, and they're not pretty. So the only way flying works for me is to leave mid-morning, early afternoon. When we got to the gate, I told the gate people that I have to board last, because if I sit on a plane while everyone's loading and everything's coming in, I'm gonna be one sick puppy. But once you get on the plane, the looks you get. They seem to think that I'm the reason they've been sitting on the plane for over an hour and are really claustrophobic. Let's cue the dirty looks, shall we? So when we got there, we had a hotel car waiting, because it's just easier than standing in line and waiting to get a cab. And again, there's, heat, which I don't do very well. I don't know if anyone can tell that. I stayed at a hotel connected to the mall, so it'd be easier to, get food and, get coffee. The next day was the con, and we got VIP tickets, which really helped because it was a lot quieter that day, and my brother and I figured, we can finish our shopping and get it out of the way so we can just enjoy the con when we go, instead of, trying to grab stuff from people and feeling this need to buy. So the day after the VIP day, not so much. We decided to go around 4 to talk to people, which was not the best idea because it was like jam-packed, and I don't know why we didn't think of that, but we wanted to see the cosplayers and everything, and it was just the typical Comic-Con shuffle where you're just going from point A to point B. You can really hard talking to people, but the best part of that day was my bulldozer. So my brother, I was very thankful to go with my brother because he had a backpack, so he could, carry everything we bought, and, I could just be fancy foot free. On his backpack, there was on this little string on the back, and I just clutch onto it for dear life, and he'd just be pushing his way through people, and he'd be like, excuse me, and he'd turn, and those people would be flying over there, and I'm just holding on. Don't let go. On the 3rd day, we decided, to go earlier, but I kind of got sick, which is not unusual. But, I decided to take it easy instead of forcing myself to go and, maybe getting sicker and just not enjoying myself. We just stayed in the hotel. To get to the con, it was this really, really long walk, and we didn't know how far it was, otherwise we would have gotten dropped off from another point, And we're walking, this lady's coming our way, and she had a Comic-Con badge. And we're like, oh, we'll ask her, how much longer do we have to walk? And she goes, oh, it's just down there. You just make a turn, and you guys are young people. You'll be fine. In a, total condescending way, and I decided that, I did not have the energy to say, excuse me, lady, I have MS, okay? This doesn't work for me. So I decided to let it go. And then when we were at the con, later on, we saw her. She came up and said, she's like, oh, see, I told you guys would be fine. Okay, that was it. I had to pull the card and I said, well, actually, I have MS, so walking is really hard for me. And that was enough. She's like, oh dear, oh, are you fine? She puts, you know, her arm around you and she's like, oh, are you fine now? Do you need water? It's like, no, I'm fine. And then, you know, she goes off feeling bad and it's like, I wouldn't have, you know, said anything, but she's so condescending. And it's like, you don't know what people are going through, lady. So when we got home, my body decided that it had enough and that was enough excitement for a couple days, and I had like an inflammation migraine that lasted like 42 hours and it was really painful, but you know, it was worth it going to Comic-Con and, you know, having fun and getting out after, you know, being sick for a while. I really enjoyed the Comic-Con and it made me really, you know, want to go to the San Diego one. But come to think of it, if I could barely survive Dubai's Comic-Con, I don't know how well I'd do at San Diego. So what about you? Have you gone to Comic-Con? Do you have any tips on being sick and going to Comic-Con, or just anything to share anyway? Because I'm always learning about what my body can and cannot handle, which it really can't handle a lot. So anyway, leave comments below and I'll see you guys later. Bye.